What if your phone was bad? Bum, bum. Did you know the name Black Mirror is supposed to talk about how if you look at your phone when the screen's off, you can see it's a mirror.
That makes
like you see a reflection in the screen.
It's thematically relevant to the show, but.
And I remember when I first heard that, when it was like season 1, I was like, oh my God. No. But I was 17. Yeah. I was 15. I think it was 2014. Yeah. So I was 17. So, hey everyone, welcome to Screen Weens. This is episode 189. And today we are going to be talking about Black Mirror. I forgot what the show was called, even though we just... Black Mirror season 6, which consists of 5 new episodes. Joan is Awful, Loch Henry, Beyond the Sea, Mazey Day, and Demon 79. Before we do that, we're going to talk about our lives. We're going to talk about what else we've watched, what else we've read, what else we've played. Just kind of what we've been doing. Mm-hmm. Anything, Thomas?
I got a new job. I don't know if I brought that up last week, but...
I don't know if you brought it up on the podcast.
Yeah. But I got a new job. I am a cook in the Safeway Deli. So yeah, very interesting.
Making the meat. Yeah, the meat.
A lot of chicken. I'm mainly the chicken guy.
I feel like you just Safeway Deli would probably. I feel like most places that sell chicken, like a rotisserie chicken or anything, probably just churn out like 1 billion a day.
Yeah, no.
I'd like to see like just the conveyor belts in the back of a Costco. If they just conveyor belt the chicken into the oven and it comes out as a perfect rotisserie chicken because they need to sell 1,000 a day or whatever.
Yeah, no, they come in boxes that we keep in a freezer, and I have to put them in the sink, and I have to like juice them, and then
juicy.
Yeah, it's honestly kind of gross. It's like I feel like I'm doing like a diet autopsy every fucking morning because it's like just all these fucking chicken corpses that I'm having to like pick up and squeeze the blood out of and put onto a pan, and it's like I try to like lay them real nice so that their like wings are kind of like in, but that's just me. I don't know. It sucks because I just read Animal Man, and it's kind of like awakened like an animal rights kind of thing. Here I am, and I'm just like...
And I've kind of, like, it's kind of been on the back burner that, like, when I eat meat, I kind of feel gross just in general. I feel like in the next couple of years, I'll probably at least dabble in being, like, a vegetarian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've
like, I have enough fucked up stuff in my life right now that I'm like, I can't do that to my body right now.
Yeah, because it really does take a lot of work to make sure that you get all the nutrients that you need and stuff. Not that I'm getting them now, because I eat, like, fried food. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely strange, but it's a nice change of pace compared to what I was doing before, because, that was just wearing on me.
I bet.
Yeah. But aside from that, I beat the Spider-Man DLC, and I restarted Miles Morales. I'm about... maybe a quarter of the way through it.
It's really short. I just beat it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I pretty much 100% of the map, and I didn't get like all the trophies because some it's like, beat New Game Plus, or it's like, you have to do this specific thing in the Rhino fight. I'm like, I missed that
this time too.
I realized you can, once you beat the game, there's a replay missions though. Really? In the menu. Yeah, you can just replay. So I might do that, but...
Did the first game have that?
No, that's a new thing for Miles Morales, I think. So yeah, I might go back now because it was really fun. It was the web swinging's so fun. The combat's pretty great. So I might go back and play.
Yeah, I will say, because I played the original and then I jumped straight into Miles Morales, and I was like, oh no, because I forgot that they make your combat at the beginning of Miles Morales because he's a newer Spider-Man, so it's like really clunky at first. So the whole time I'm like, why am I getting my ass kicked? I just literally was like proing the fucking... The DLC is surprising. It's not like hard, but I'd say it's significantly more difficult than...
the base game?
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah. Which gives me hope for the sequel's combat, because I thought the bosses in the first game, while spectacally very cool, I was just like, the way they played were kind of just really easy. Just like, dodge, hit. Which works in, like, I like that mechanic better in, like, the group where you're, like, fighting, like, the crime. Because it's, like, you got, like, 20 guys coming at you, so it's a little more fast-paced. But, yeah, when it comes to the bosses, I don't know. I thought the bosses in the base Spider-Man game were kind of like.
I think they're fun, and they're like fun and cinematic and stuff, but they're not particularly challenging.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like they could have struck a better balance, and I think that they do in the DLC for the most part. It's not like perfect, but it's definitely like an improvement.
Cool.
But yeah.
Sweet. Anything else? Mostly playing that?
I was reading a little of Silver Age Doom Patrol because it's like really short. Okay. And I thought it'd be interesting before I dive in because I picked up. I went to the place where you work earlier in the week and I bought the first volume of Animal Man, and I also bought the entirety of Grant Morrison's run on Doom Patrol. Like the first 3 volumes of that.
Yeah, somebody was like, London. I came into work and they're like, London, somebody came in and bought Animal Man. I'm like, yeah, I know. Yeah. Thomas. Don't worry. We reordered volume 2.
Well, you also, you should let me know if you guys get the first volume of Swamp Thing, because I was thinking about picking up the first few of that, but the first volume was gone, and I was like...
The Saga of Swamp Thing one?
Yeah, the one by Alan Moore.
I didn't realize that he came in, because I actually started reading it today, because I have it. I didn't realize he came in on issue 20 of that run. Oh. So it, picks up on issue 20.
It should be fine.
Yeah. 20 is kind of hard to get because it's the writer left and there were a bunch of loose ends. So Alan Moore kind of just finished the issue 20 is called Loose Ends. And he just kind of finishes all those storylines so he can kind of start anew in 21.
Yeah, makes sense.
But so far pretty good. I've only read that first issue, but I was reading that today. I read Man and Superman, which is by Marv Wolfman. It was something that was gonna be printed in something called, I think, Superman Confidential, back in the early 2000s or mid 2000s, but it got canceled. So it was done, the script was finished, the art was done, but it didn't get printed until 2018 when they just released it as a 100-page giant, and then I have the hardcover of it, and it's kind of like a Superman origin story, but it's about specifically his first few days in Metropolis, when he first moves. And he's like, I can't do this. I don't know how to use my powers. I'm afraid I'm going to hurt someone. How do I dictate? It's really, really good. That's
kind of an interesting twist, because I feel like most people, when they write, Superman origins, they lean into, kind of what the movie did, because I feel like the movie's obviously, the groundwork for... You look at his Golden Age origin, and it's the basics are there, but you gotta obviously spice it up. But because obviously in the Christopher Reeve movie, he goes and trains in the Fortress of Solitude for so many years before heading to Metropolis. So that's kind of an interesting take on it. I haven't seen Smallville, but I think Smallville does a similar thing.
I do want to I watched a little bit of Smallville growing up, and I remember liking it, but it was it was kind of before my time in the sense that it was airing, when we were a little bit younger. Yeah. So, my older brother watched it, I think, or maybe my older sister. So I remember seeing it.
Yeah, I always remember seeing, the TV spots for it, but I just never watched it.
As soon as you watch SpongeBob.
Even as a kid, I if there's a continuity that's attached to it, I like to watch the whole thing. Unless it's something designed to be more episodic. Yeah. In which case it's alright. But
that's fair.
Yeah. I'll probably watch that eventually.
I read that. What did I read else? I've been reading a little bit of the first Rogue Squadron book, which is good. But then, what did I watch? Had I seen The Flash the last time we talked?
You were dreading.
I watched that the next day.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
What?
It's
I've heard nothing but good things about it.
So I originally placed it above Batman vs. Superman, which is my least favorite superhero movie. But I think it's worse.
Really?
Yeah. Because it's really... Because Zack Snyder, at the very least... wants to make something. It doesn't feel it just feels gross, Batman vs. Superman is just a terrible fucking movie.
Yeah.
But he's doing something, He's trying. It's just something that I I'm not on his wavelength. I don't want it in my life.
Yeah.
Flash is like, I'm going to throw up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I have to rewatch both, but I don't want to do either of those.
I mean, you don't have to. It's okay. But
I feel, in my heart, I know I need to.
Yeah, I've been hearing mostly just like either people saying it's amazing or more people who I generally respect their opinions online saying like, yeah, it's kind of just like kind of like how I felt about the Justice League Snyder Cut had it been not 4 hours long, where it's like, it's a serviceable superhero movie that does its job. Everyone says the CGI is.
It's horrendous, but I also just think the acting's terrible from, like, everyone. It's kind of funny seeing just Michael Keaton and, like, Michael Shannon just, like, asleep. They're just like, but, yeah, did not like that one. The next day I saw Elemental and The Blackening. Elemental's a new Pixar movie with the fire and the water. Yeah. It's way better than I thought it was going to be. It's not good, but it's like, it's a lot better than I expected. I really don't like the character design still, but the world is fun. Like, the visual world building is very fun. I like that.
Yeah. I don't know. No. I don't think it's for me. I think the only animated children's movie I have any interest in seeing is that mermaid one, just simply because.
Why?
Looks kind of dumb, but I like nautical shit.
That's fair.
So it's just me.
And then I watched The Blackening, which is the like horror comedy about the all black, and it's actually not bad.
Yeah, that's actually what I was hearing.
It's pretty fun. Not all the jokes land, but there's like enough consistent jokes that are funny that it's like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I laughed like multiple times out loud. Speaking of which, I also saw No Hard Feelings today. The like Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
That's also not bad. I laughed out loud a lot. I think the first half is front loaded with a lot of great jokes, and then as they're like getting more of like a somber tone, because like the tension has to build, and the jokes start coming less and less. And the third act's just kind of not great, but overall, it's a pretty fun movie. I was surprised. And then we just watched Predestination, which is an Ethan Hawke movie from 2014 about time travel and time loops. It's so dumb and so convoluted and so great. Yeah. It's so much fun. I had a blast. And we just finished that like 20 minutes before we got here.
Oh, nice.
Played the Miles Morales game. And I think that's it. Just been working and reading, the old grind.
Yes.
But yeah. And then I watched Black Mirror, obviously.
Yes. Black Mirror.
But, do you have anything else before we go to questions?
I don't think so.
Okay. Questions from Pierre. Thank you, Pierre. Question 1. Who is your favorite YouTuber nobody talks about? Screen Weens.
Definitely.
I don't know. I don't really watch YouTube.
Yeah.
A lot of the YouTubers I watch are ones that I just used to watch, and it's kind of like it's a cozy, nostalgic feeling kind of thing. And I know I used to watch a lot of like pretty obscure people, but they don't make anything anymore. Yeah. Like I when Pierre asked that, I went to like a bunch of like Let's Players I used to watch when I watched Let's Plays, and they're like, they haven't uploaded in years. I'm like, God. Then no one,
Yeah. Sean Brown.
He deleted his YouTube years ago.
Well,
he might have a new one.
He should. Sean, if you're watching this, which I know you're not, make another YouTube channel. We were your biggest fans.
Sean Brown was a customer at the theater we worked at who had a lot of movie opinions. But he was like...
He's like
he was only watching like Marvel stuff,
Yeah.
He watched all the new movies, but I don't think he'd ever seen like a black and white movie.
What was the one movie we recommended him that was a bit out of his element, and he was like, "Thank you, all the comments I got for this movie." Was it The Incredible Bulk? Maybe? It was something like that. I don't remember specifically what it was, but it was some trash movie, and he was like, "Thanks, but don't recommend me stuff like this."
Question 2. Best flavor of milk?
Chocolate. Maybe strawberry. I like strawberry.
I think maybe because I'm getting old, but I'm kind of a classic milk Like just regular old milk. I do like a strawberry and a chocolate, but it's not as consistent. You know, I couldn't, if I just had chocolate milk or just had strawberry milk, I'd be like, eh. But I could, like, theoretically drink a glass of regular milk a day and be like, yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I could see that. I tend not to drink a whole lot of milk because milk in my stomach.
Yeah, no, I don't either anymore. Like, as a kid, I'm like, I love milk! But if occasionally, you know, I still drink. If I'm having a rough night, I'll have a glass of milk to let me go into sleepy world time.
Yeah, usually it's like almond or oat milk that I drink, so I don't know if those count as flavors or a different thing entirely, but yeah. Otherwise, chocolate. Classic.
Chocolate! And question 3.
Yes.
How much chicken nuggets can you provide? How much can you take? What the fuck does that mean? 6. Like, how much could my body provide if we were to turn my body into chicken nuggets? Because if that's the case, a lot. I would say at least 1,000. No, that's too many. I would say at least...
Probably like 100.
150, I think. How many can I take? 1,000.
Yeah.
If you were to really try, how many chicken nuggets could you eat in one sitting?
I think if I pushed myself, I could probably eat like... I want to say 40, but I would probably tap at around 30. Because I eat 20 and I'm like... I'm feeling... I'm good. Like, I'm probably past good when I eat 20.
I think I could do 60. I think. Because, like, I'll have 20 and I'll be like, man, I kind of wish I had 10 more. Which is not great. I need to get rid of this big belly I'm getting. But,
Yeah, surprisingly, despite the looks, I don't have much of an appetite. I eat, like...
I'm hungry all the time, but then I get full really easily. Yeah. But then I'm instantly hungry like 20 minutes later. It's really annoying. But I think I can do 20 easy. That's like what I usually have. And I'm like, I kind of wish I had more. And then I think if I ate fast enough, my body wouldn't register that I'm full. So I think I could probably eat 30 before I'm like, oh God, I'm full. Yeah. I might throw up after it, but I think I could do 60.
Yeah, I think it takes like roughly about like half an hour or so for your body to like register.
Maybe. So I'm going to go 60. That wasn't even the question, but I made the question better. Thank you for the questions, Pierre. Let's get on with it. Black Mirror Season 6. We're going to be talking about Joan is Awful.
Yes.
First, though, you have not seen a lot of Black Mirror, right? You've seen a handful of episodes, and I'm guessing pretty early stuff?
Yeah, I've seen, at one point when I was in high school, my friend was like, yo, you gotta check out this show. And he put on the episode, I think it's the first episode where the guy, like, has to fuck a pig.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the full thing. I watched, like, half of it before we got, like, high or something. And then... You showed me an episode at one point here. I don't remember much about it aside it's like... This woman like wakes up in this house and they're like recording... Like people around the town are like recording her...
Why did I show you that? That's really funny. I think I might have been like... Because that's my least favorite episode of Black Mirror.
That might have been the reason. You might have been like, look at this...
It's literally, I think White Bear people love. I think White Bear fucking sucks.
You might have been curious for my take on it, and I'm sure I was.
And I think at that point, I'm like, maybe I can retry it. Maybe I'll like it this time. Because each time I've watched White Bear, I've liked it less and less. Because in general, I like the first 4 seasons of Black Mirror overall. I think season 5 is bad. I think season 5 was only 3 episodes, sorry. I thought 2 of the episodes were bad. And then one of the episodes was decent. It was like the VR one where they have gay sex. I'm like, And then season 5, I was like, I kind of knew this wasn't good. Spoiler, I think this season's bad overall.
Wait, we watched season 6, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Sorry, this season I thought was pretty bad.
Yeah.
There was
right there with you.
one episode I thought was good, I guess.
Yeah.
And even that, it's like, you know.
I would say there was one that I thought was decent. And there was one that I thought was watchable, but not very good.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see your takes on things. But, yeah, I've seen all Black Mirror. I'm also interested to see how I would feel if I rewatched the whole series, because I've watched them, you know, as I've grown up with them. And, you know, their, like, main thesis statements are, like, profound to a child, I guess. But if I watched them now, would I just think all of them were as dumb as this season? Maybe.
So, okay, I've got a question as an outsider here. Does every season just have, like, episodes that aren't technical? Because I thought the whole, like, gimmick of the show was, like, ooh, technology's bad. But it seemed like half the episodes in this season were, ooh, paranormal stuff is bad.
It's like there's still technology present in all these, but they're definitely on the back burner.
I don't know if that like Demon 1975 or whatever.
Demon 79 is like that one I'll give you. Like it's like you watched TV.
And I guess like the paparazzi one, they had cameras.
Yeah,
it's like trackers, I guess.
No, this is definitely the biggest, like, departure. And I'm fine with that if they didn't all just fucking suck. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care if you want to just make it an anthology series about something else and just keep the name. I'm fine with that. I think overall they kept mostly the same vibe at the least. Mm-hmm. It's just not executed well.
Yeah. Yeah, because I watched these out of order, so it was like...
What'd you start with?
I started with... I just kind of went based off the synopsis and clicked on the ones that seemed interesting to me at first. So I started with Lochtown? What was
Loch Henry.
Loch Henry.
Lochtown?
Which... I mean, I won't give my thoughts away on them yet. So I started with that one. Then I watched Joan is Awful. Then I watched Demon 79. Then I watched Mazey
Day.
And then I watched the
Beyond the Sea. Okay. I would just watch them in order.
Yeah, aside from maybe like the Easter egg that like... I don't know, because I caught the Easter egg having watched Joan is Awful. Second, I was like, hey, there's that documentary on Streamberry.
I just saw the name and I'm like, oh, it's because I had seen all the names from
yeah.
So Joan is Awful. This one's all about AI and evil streaming services. Mm-hmm. Ooh, and what if the streaming service that you accepted the terms and conditions of, what if they took your likeness and formed a show around your life? And what if they were planning on doing this to everyone? And what if the person... Also, we're going to get into spoilers for all these episodes. Mm-hmm. And what if the person that you're following the whole time is actually the AI likeness of an actress who's in the first level of the simulation, and the real person actually wasn't even in the episode the whole time? Just incredibly dumb concept. Which is fine. You know, you can have... I just watched Predestination. Which, you know, that kind of movie makes me even like, you know, Black Mirror can be as dumb as it wants. You just need to be good, too. You just need to be cool or fun or interesting. I don't think Joan is Awful is any of those things. I don't think it's terrible, but I do think it's bad.
See, okay, I'm going to disagree. I thought that this, for me, was the highlight of the whole farce.
Holy shit, that's rough.
Yeah. No, you're telling me.
Wow, okay.
But I thought... I was watching it and I'm like, you know, this is kind of like the Truman Show on cocaine. Yeah. And that's something.
It's just like, I think it's at times funny, but I never think it's insightful or interesting. Even.
No, there's no substance there.
Yeah, I think Michael Cera showing up is fun. He's kind of a fun little character they have.
Yeah.
The Salma Hayek stuff is fun. The like show within a show within a show, and then it zooms out and it's like AI within an AI within an AI. That's like fun, but it's just...
It felt like some of it was like, well, humans enjoy watching awful things.
And it's just like, a lot of this is...
And it's like, wow, that's a very...
Wow, this is funded by Netflix, and they're an evil corporation. And they're like, haha, look at us. I'm like, yeah, we know. Yeah,
it doesn't have the charm of like when The Simpsons shit talk Fox or anything. It's just like...
And the showrunner, it just feels like he's lost a lot of his bite. This season doesn't have any bite to it.
I mean, I can't speak, but like doing like back-to-back anthology seasons is hard. Like it's a hard thing.
He had 4 years for this. The last season came out in 2019.
Really?
Yeah. And then COVID hit and all that. I get it, but it was like, if you're gonna, you could have just stopped there.
Yeah. No, because that was definitely the highlight for me.
It already feels like there shouldn't have been a season 5, because it feels like Bandersnatch, which I like quite a bit, at least from when I watched it.
I didn't finish Bandersnatch, but I did do a little.
I like the novelty of Bandersnatch, and I think it's a good end point for a product like Black Mirror.
Yeah.
I think 4 seasons, Bandersnatch, done. Season 5 and 6 just feel like weird afterthoughts that don't really fit. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Because, this one is whatever. I thought, like, the initial kind of slow build of, like, hey, here's your day-to-day life on this Netflix show. Kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. The second, it was like, how are they doing this? It's like, dude, your phone fucking records you. Like, it's obvious how they're getting this information. Although, it seemed like the simple solution to that problem would be, I mean, I realize it's not necessarily this easy, but at this point, it would be like, all right, people are just going to have to get rid of your fucking phone. Like...
It's like, but if you go outside, it's like, just don't talk to people outside.
Yeah, it's like, theoretically, they could still, like, harvest that data through other people, I guess, but... I don't know, do what Aaron Paul did and move out to the fucking cabin in the middle of the fucking woods.
Move into space.
Go to space.
Duh.
Then the spaceship would watch you and then
record.
But
it's just like, I think it's bad, but like funny sometimes. At least not even in a funny ha-ha way, just like funny and like you kind of have a little smile.
Yeah. I think conceptually it's got something going for it. But
I do too. Like, the concept is fine. Like, it's a dumb concept, but a lot of Black Mirror stuff is dumb, and I like a lot of Black Mirror.
I mean, anything high concept can seem dumb. Yeah. It just depends on the execution, because, like, The Truman Show sounds like the stupidest fucking thing in the world. But
and it is, but it's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. But, this was, I thought it was decently entertaining.
Good.
So it was like, all right, it held my attention through the episode, and it's more than I can say about most of these, because some of them were just like, I found them all to be insanely predictable. Yeah, which was the thing that.
Which is really, I don't think, like, there are a couple times, and it's the same thing, it's like, maybe it's just because I was young. Like, you know, our tastes and our knowledge about media changes as we grow older and to consume more media.
Yeah, because when I was younger, I definitely didn't pay attention to things like Chekhov's guns or dominoes being set up.
Yeah, no, it's like, I think there's something in Beyond the Sea that happens like 10 minutes in that I'm like, oh, what the fuck? But then the rest of it after that, I'm like,
yes.
You know exactly what's going to happen from there. Even I could tell exactly what was going to happen from the very beginning, except that one part, you know.
Yeah, that wasn't the part I wasn't expecting that to go down, but we can talk about that more after.
Yeah, Joan is awful. You kind of just know what's going to happen. It's probably the least predictable because it's just kind of looping on itself, and they do like some fun stuff, but everything after this is like, yeah. You're just kind of like waiting for the end point.
Yeah.
But, I think you give this a 5, a 6, a 5?
Yeah, like a real light 6.
Okay.
You would probably give this 4.
Yeah. Loch Henry, the Loch Henry episode.
Yeah.
Where there's a man who has traumatic experience in his town. There was a murder. There was a murderer who killed a bunch of people, and then he died. And then his dad died because of his confrontation with the murderer. And they go back to the town to be like, oh, we're going to go make a documentary about the Eggman that lives down the road. And they're like, no. His girlfriend's like, no. We need to capitalize on the pain and suffering of this town. Let's make a movie about this. And he's like, no. And he's like, no, we got to do this.
If you don't do it, I will. And
he's like, fine. And then they're like, it's fine. They're making a movie. And then it's like, oh no, we discovered that, it was my mom and dad all along with this murderer. And it's like, who could have ever predicted this? Oh wait, a child!
Yeah. And it's like, okay, I could maybe forgive, like, the predictable thing. They don't even go as far to give us the fucking courtesy of, like, explaining, like, what the fuck actually went down. They're just like, yeah, he, like, killed those people.
It's just no bite.
And it's like, okay, was it because he was feeling the media pressure of, like, that one local, or those tourists who, like, went missing? Like, why did he kill his, like, longtime murder partner?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's like, you guys probably could have gotten away with it. You're the fucking cop to this town. I guess if...
Well, I assume that, like, he was spilling the beans. They tell a story about, he came in drunk that night. I just assume that he was, like, kind of revealing stuff. And he's like, yikes, I'm gonna go kill this guy.
So.
But, like, nothing, it's not... I think this one is overall fine. I like the look of it, mostly. And I like the 2 lead performances all right. But it's just like... Yeah, she dies because she falls and hits a rock, and they literally say, like, some people just get swept up by the river, and then she goes in the river. It's like, and it's just like, there's no bite, and it feels like this one should be vicious.
Yeah.
And the ending is just like, he accepts the award, and he was talking about how, like, we shouldn't profit off this, and now people are profiting on his tragedy. It's like, okay, but what's...
Yeah, and
yeah, we knew this from the beginning. You could have just said this. Like...
At this point...
Honestly, I was watching this and be like, I liked Devil House quite a bit. The book.
Yeah, no.
Because that's talking about, true crime and stuff and the ramifications of it.
Yeah, it does a much better job.
Yeah. And it's just like, I think this one's fine because I think it's engaging to me at least, but it's maybe the most predictable of all of them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps. I was pretty... There is one that I would say had the courtesy of being unpredictable, but that was only because they were, like, withholding key information from you, and the second, like... I saw a specific thing and I was like, oh no, I know exactly where this is fucking going.
Yeah.
Which is the one we'll be talking about. Not next.
2 from now. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But yeah, it's like, honestly, I was excited to talk about Black Mirror because there are some episodes in the first 3 seasons that I could talk about just for a long time. Because I do think they're great. Like White Christmas, I think is great. Playtest I can talk about a lot because I really dig Playtest. Well, like Shut Up and Dance is one of the ones that even in remembering it really threw me off guard with its twist. And I don't know if it would if I watched it for the first time now, but like I could talk about those for a lot and they've stayed in my memory. But these ones, nothing's gonna stay here except maybe that 4th one just because of the stupid fucking twist. Yeah. That might be the one I remember the most just because I'm like, remember when that happened?
Yeah, I don't know, because, I mean, obviously I've seen a lot of media relating to that subject matter, so it was just like, it honestly doesn't even stand out in that genre.
Yeah, I don't even mean in that genre, I just mean in Black Mirror. Like,
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. But yeah, this one, I think is decent. It's watchable. It's just...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see why like someone would like this one, but I found most, if not all, the characters to be absolutely insufferable.
And it seems like what's interesting is I see like most of the people that I'm friends with on like Letterboxd and stuff, they're digging this new season. I'm like, have I just outgrown Black Mirror as a concept? Like, that's what makes me like, if I just go back, will it all suck? Or
I don't know, because I've been seeing just a lot of like general buzz, and most people that I've been hearing from tend to lean on the negative side for the season. So
maybe I'm just like maybe just the last people I've friended on Letterboxd have just been really positive. Just like in general, people. Some people I follow on Letterboxd are like, I only give things like 7 through 10. I'm like, I wish I enjoyed things.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, this one is, I think I liked it more than Joan is Awful, but I didn't like it.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I can see your point there. Yeah, I didn't like it either.
Yeah. Yeah, I think... Do you have anything? I literally don't have anything to say about it.
I would say there was one part that I liked, but, like, I didn't like it on... I liked it on one sense, but I didn't like it on another. And that was the part where, like, she's kind of left in the house alone with the mother and, like, looks over on the wall and just, like, instantly goes ghost face. And it's like, all right, I realize that you're in a sketchy situation, but you are, like,
you're being so suspicious.
So obvious with it. It's like, oh, let me just stare agape at your murder mask. That's... What other scenario would you possibly look creeped out at that fucking, like... I mean, I guess those masks are weird. And anyone who probably has one hanging up on their wall is...
some sort of sex fiend.
Yeah, has some sort of, like, issue, probably. But not necessarily, but more than likely. But yeah, it's just like...
I do like the note, once the mom, like, knows that she's, found out. I like the note that's, like, for your movie. Mm-hmm. I thought that was, like, fun. There's some fun, like, visual stuff. I think this and maybe Beyond the Sea look the best, like, visually out of these. Like, I like the aesthetic that they're going for in those. But, yeah, didn't really do anything for me. Hinatea was pretty positive on most of these, though, so I'm glad someone liked them. I think Joe was pretty positive on them, too. Pierre was not.
Yeah. Well, one time, I agree with Pierre. Not literally the one time, but...
But, yeah. I think maybe you'd give this one a 4?
I'd probably give it a 5. I just thought it was incredibly predictable and bland.
No, that's fair.
And I didn't like the characters, but...
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's maybe just the performance, but their, like, friend, or his, like, friend that, like, runs the pub.
Yeah.
He has a lot of charisma.
He does.
And he's like one of I think he's a good example of someone who's, like, not politically correct, but, like, has a good mindset. Like, he's like, oh, I thought you were going to tell me your pronouns. It's like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. But then he's like, I'm on your side,
Yeah, no, I definitely thought he had the most... The episode was the most lively when he was around, and I thank him for that. I thought the stuff between him and his dad was like the most interesting stuff in the episode, honestly. Yeah. But
honestly, you can still have this story, but shift the narrative to have him be the central character that you're following. That'd probably make it much more interesting. Yeah. Just like small town's like struggling bar owner, the town's been like abandoned by tourism, and then your friend comes in and he's like, I don't know what to do. He's like, you gotta make this movie, dude. It'll, reinvigorate our business. Because then you get the angle where it's literally like, he's not even really caring about this. He's only looking at it like, my business is dying. My dad's a drunk. Like, I need this. Like, yeah. That would have actually been much better.
Yeah, I agree. Sadly, that was not the case. Sometimes you just need to look at what you got on paper and go, is there anything I could do to spice this up a bit? Sadly, I don't think most people take that time. Yeah. They go, I churned this out, it's hot on the press. Yeah. Which I understand. I've been there. I've done it. I did 31 days of Halloween. Believe me, I know. Okay, it was more like 24 days of Halloween. But it was called 31 Days of Halloween.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, so this episode was not good. You would give it... You give it like a 6?
I'm also at a 5.
A 5.
You. I'm with you. This was not the episode I liked. Let's talk about Beyond the Sea, which is, I think, the longest. It's this and Demon 79. They're like almost full-length movies.
This was the one I watched last because I was like, all right, it's the longest. It's got the 2 biggest stars. Yeah. So, well, I didn't realize that Selma Hayek was in the first one. Yeah. But aside from her, the 2 biggest stars. So I was like, this is clearly like what they're gunning up to be like the best episode of the season. So I saved it for last, thinking I was doing a service to myself by doing so.
Did you not like this one?
Dude, that ending pissed me off.
Pierre pissed it off too. I didn't mind that ending. I thought well, it wasn't the exact ending I was anticipating. Like, I do this thing where, like, I watch something, I'm like, all right, this can go, like, one of, like, 3 ways. And that was clearly one of the ways where it's, like, it's set up, it's gonna execute, like, one of 2 paths. And I thought that it just, for all the build-up and everything, like, yeah, I didn't like this episode. Yeah. This is, I think, the only episode I like. And I don't even really like it for its narrative reasons. I think its narrative overall is really predictable. Mm-hmm. I kind of like the ending just because it's like all this build up into nothing. I actually kind of like where it's like leaves you with questions, even though they're not really questions because the whole episode's so predictable, so you can just predict what happens next. Mm-hmm. But I think Aaron Paul in this is incredible.
Yeah, I will say there are silver linings to the episode. I think that both Josh Hartnett and Aaron Paul give, like, very great performances. And even though I don't like the ending, I do like kind of what it represents for Aaron Paul's wife in the story, because it's like, I feel she's a very tragic character.
Yeah, I think there's enough. When I say there's no bite in this season, I think this is the only one that has a little bit of that. It's never on screen. It's always, like, vague, but... Or not vague, but it's always just alluded at. Yeah. But... And this is the only one that I'm like, yes, tragedy, sadness, pain, torment. So I think it's just, I latch onto a lot of the core ideas in this a lot. I really like the concept, like a lot. I really wanted to love this episode, but I'm like, I think it's barely good. And I think that's just because it's so predictable. I think the first thing where Josh Hartnett's like wife and children are just, like annihilated, I was legitimately like, whoa, this might go different places. But then it did the exact same thing. I knew one of them was gonna like, I knew they were gonna body swap or do something. I was like, he's gonna fuck his wife. Yeah. I knew exactly where it was going. And like, from the very beginning, I didn't expect, him to murder the other guy's wife. But like 30 minutes in, I'm like, I know what's gonna, it's either they do cuck him and, he does fall in love, and they live happily ever after with the other guy.
One of the two are gonna...
Or they're gonna die.
Yeah, one of the two is gonna go psycho.
And it was Black Mirror, so like they're gonna die.
Yeah. It was either Josh Hartnett's character in Aaron Paul's body was going to like fuck the wife and like have the wife fall in love with him, and Aaron Paul was gonna get mad and try to kill Josh Hartnett up in space, or...
And you could see him going crazy. Like it's
that, or I was definitely anticipating a point where maybe Josh Hartnett was going to try to like pretend to be Aaron Paul.
Yeah, I kind of was, and like I guess that, but
yeah, I found this episode to be way more interesting in the first few minutes when it was like, oh, this is kind of an intriguing concept, but then they didn't really do.
Yeah, I'm like, why was this an hour and a half? Or hour 20 minutes. Like,
yes, this could have been.
There's not much substance here. Like, it's a really cool concept, and there's a handful of scenes I really like. And I think, like I said, I think the performances are phenomenal. To the point that I'm like, maybe I should watch Breaking Bad because I haven't seen it. I'm like, Aaron Paul, this guy's onto something.
Yeah, Aaron Paul's good. He's good in Breaking Bad from the first 3 seasons of which I've seen.
And Josh Hartnett's great too.
Yeah,
but it's just like. And I also think I really like the look of this. I like the space station stuff, and it's just like,
Yeah.
But it's kind of just floundering around and being risen up by performances and like the overall aesthetic that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
And the themes, I like the core themes, I like the tragic elements, but man, it makes me feel like, man, if this was in like season 1 or 2 of Black Mirror, this would have been like so emotionally devastating, and this would have been so fucking good. But it also would have had no names in it, and I don't know if the performances would have been as strong, so I'm like, but I'd rather have like a better product overall, like a better story and stuff. But yeah, I obviously like this more than you, but even then I'm like, I barely like this one.
Yeah, no, this one was the one that just like, it wrapped, and I was like, because I thought we were about to like swing into a third act at the very least, but then it just like...
Yeah, it's really funny because, like, if I'm fine with this ending if this was like 50 minutes. But I'm like, you wanted to make an hour and 20-minute movie. And then just were like shitting around for half of it.
Yeah.
And then ends on like a big cliffhanger, which I'm fine with in concept.
Yeah.
But then you just make it way too long.
And it's just like, yeah. If I was Aaron Paul at that point, it's like, all right, both our lives are fucked. Let's kill each other.
Yeah, and that's literally, like, it's so heavily implied by who he is as a character. Like, it takes so long to, like, establish that, and you keep, yeah, you know, I get it.
That, and, like...
You know too much about the character to, like, have that be an ending where you're like, oh, I don't know what happens. Yeah. Like, you've established him as a character and you keep repeating the same thing.
Yeah. That, and I don't know. I don't know if I buy Josh Hartnett's just, like, he just, like, I get that, like, the family, the tragedy.
I think what you could have done is you could have had him up in space without visiting, like, without going back in. You just have him go crazy again. Like, because he was going crazy, then he got that kind of reprieve because he was down there. And then you, like, instantly have him do it again. Like, you just draw it out. Just have him up there, not be able to go down for a while. Like,
yeah, because it was just, like... I don't know, because the idea of, like... I feel like if my family... Like, let's say I had a wife and kids, and they were fucking murdered in front of me. I feel like one of the last things on this earth I would ever do is try to inflict that pain on another innocent person. Like... There was a point early on where I'm like, maybe he's gonna like take over Aaron Paul's body and like try to go kill the people who kill his family, but it's like, no, they're in jail. I mean, he theoretically could, but it probably wouldn't go well.
Yeah.
And it's like, but they don't even think about going that direction, which I'm fine with. That wouldn't have been a very great story regardless, but it's just like, it just strikes me as very weird that like he would resort to that.
Oh.
At least I don't feel like it was built up enough. I get that they were like.
It's weird that they weren't building up the right things, kind of thing.
But if they want,
I think to try to make a shocking ending, I was like, it's not. Yeah, we knew what was happening.
Yeah, they make him like a master like manipulator and stuff, or make him out to be, and it's like I can maybe see this had you like planted some seeds for this and like his original family life, but I mean, based off of like what we saw, unless I missed some overt stuff, like it seemed like a relatively chill dad. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't notice anything like super red flag about him. So
yeah,
seemed like a good father, good husband.
Yeah,
which I understand. Like maybe they were trying to make like a commentary of like, oh, the nuclear family dad. They're
always evil.
They're always unhinged, and it's like, yeah, I could maybe agree,
but just do it in a more interesting way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I agree with you with that. I overall liked it more than you, but I agree with everything you said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just wasn't enough meat on the bones.
That's fair.
But yeah, I think you would... This is your 6.
Yeah, this is my 6. Okay. And it's a light 6.
Mm-hmm.
4?
Yeah, this is a 4. Okay. The performances were really good. It looked good.
But yeah, I get it.
But yeah.
Mazey Day, the shortest episode. This feels the longest to me, though.
Yes, I agree. This one was insufferable.
I will say, the pure fucking stupidity of the ending kind of saved it for me. Just a little bit. I still think it's terrible, but it brought it back a little bit for me. Just because I was like...
I knew exactly where it was fucking going. So
me too, but I was just like, you know... Maybe it's because I also watched it as a group and I knew what was happening and they didn't. And I'm just like, it's something funny to watch.
Yeah, because for the first part, it was like, all right, I see what they're going for.
It's just like, this might be the most like brain dead take. Like, yes, we get it that the paparazzi are bad, and yes, we get it that it's an exploitative thing, and yes, we get it that even if like it could give you a big paycheck, you might turn on it too, even though you're like, no, I need to change my ways. We get it, but you just keep saying the same thing for 40 minutes, and then there's a werewolf.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing they're saying the whole season, that like people thrive on entertaining violence, and
I understand that themes in Black Mirror are cyclical and you're supposed to kind of like build upon them, but it doesn't build. It's always just going this way. It's never building up in this season. But yeah, and even from the beginning, it's like you see Mazey Day, she's drunk driving, she hits something. The next day she's like, oh yeah, there was a man found here, and she goes, man, and I knew immediately it was a werewolf.
See, I didn't pick up on that part.
I literally was like, what? In my head, I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if it was a werewolf?
Yeah, the whole time I was like, okay. I thought they were going to go more Brood than they were Howling, but then they ended up going pretty close to Howling. I don't like the Howling, but I like the Brood, though. But it didn't go the Brood route. Brood's not a werewolf movie. It's a David Cronenberg movie, which is... To vaguely just say the plot of that one, it's like a special like mental health facility that's doing like experimental therapy.
I still haven't seen that movie.
Yeah, I'm not going to go any further than that, but that's where the connection was for me. And it kind of, there's also a point in that movie where they kick everybody out so they can have one person there. So I was like, oh, this is kind of like The Brood. But then it was like, oh no, because the second I saw it, it's like, she's chained up and there's a goat. I'm like, no, please, no. Yeah, it's a fucking werewolf. She was a fucking werewolf. And then this, I don't know. It's so over the top.
I think it's
Dan
like
Schneider and the one guy were fucking just...
Yeah. And I think what it is it was so over the top. And it's like, I think the first 3 episodes are still trying to like kind of be Black Mirror in essence and kind of being a low-key kind of experience. And this one is literally just like, get it? Camera bad. Camera. Paparazzi bad. Do you get it? Werewolf feeds. Paparazzi feeds.
Yeah. Paparazzi animal.
Predator. Do you get it?
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, we get. I think because it was so dumb, it did loop back around just a tad for me.
Yeah, it did not for me.
That's okay. I still think this is maybe the worst one, but
this was probably like easily the worst one for me. I found very little redeeming.
No, that's I get it.
It felt long.
It did. It's kind of impressive. Kind of felt like a full moon movie in that aspect. Like, wow, they know how to stretch time. Very cool.
Yes.
Time travel is possible.
It's like that.
If you want to feel like you're living forever, just watch Mazey Day.
It's like in Catch-22, there's that one character who's like, basically, he's got like a kind of common thing where he's like, oh, I love being miserable, because when you're being miserable, time lasts longer. And it's like, you're such a fucking weirdo, but I guess I can maybe see your point. But yeah, it's like, oh my god, this was just so short, but so long. Yeah. I thought it was just not good. I was waiting the whole time for the other shoe to drop. I'm like, all right, clearly it's got something weird's got to happen at some point. And then it was a fucking werewolf. And it's just... I hate werewolves.
I think the thing is, I also just kind of like werewolves. But I also haven't seen as much werewolf stuff as you. And the thing is, I know most werewolf stuff sucks. Yeah. And I haven't seen most werewolf stuff. Yeah. So it's fine.
I watched approximately about 30-ish werewolf movies. Because there were movies I watched that I didn't do reviews for. Yeah. Oh my god. Like, I was hoping, because the whole thing was like, yeah, like, I can list tons of vampire movies I like, tons of zombie movies I like.
Yeah, it's funny how consistent the others are, even though they have terrible movies. Oh, it's like you can look at vampire and werewolf movie, or vampire and zombie movies and be like, yeah, these movies are not just like incredible for their like niche, but also just as horror movies, they're some of the best.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there's only like
I can name the Bad Moon is one you like. Yeah. There's a werewolf.
Bad Moon, I like
the train Bullet. One. I remember you being
Howl was decent.
I was about to say Howling, and I'm like, no, that's not the Howling.
Yeah, Howl was decent. Howl is something. It's like, I don't know if you were to watch it, I don't know if you'd like it, because the thing I liked about it was like very like Night of the Living Dead, except instead of zombies in a house, it's
werewolves on a train. Sounds like my jam. That's actually the big problem I have with Night of the Living Dead. It's set in a house instead of on a train.
That movie tried to do some interesting, like the werewolf designs are atypical for average werewolf designs, so I thought that was really interesting, and it's got the guy from Aragon, so
I gotta go watch this movie right now.
Yeah. It's on Tubi. And I think it's short. I think it's like 90 minutes. But so I thought that one was decent. It's at least a fun watch. Same with Bad Moon. Bad Moon's not like a quality film, but it is so fucking fun. That's the one about the family dog. And that's really
short, right? I remember you saying it's really brisk. Like it has a really good pacing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one where it's like the family dog and the werewolf moves next door. And it's like, I gotta protect my family. The dog's name is Thor. Concept. Yeah, it's great.
You know what's not great? Mazey Day.
No. Silver Bullet's another one that's like a really good. I'd say what's
American Werewolf in London's good, right? Or maybe
no, I don't like that one.
Oh, okay, just kidding.
It's John Landis, which I mean is a
you love that guy.
But just like I see why people like American Werewolf in London, but when I watched it, it just didn't do anything for me. It's got very little going on besides the special effects and the fact that like it's also got a lot of like comedy interspliced in it, so it's like kind of gives it a personality. But like aside from that, I don't think it's got that much going for it. It's very weird, but it does have an interesting concept that's in American Werewolf in London that I do like, but American Werewolf in Paris, that has Julie Delpy in it.
So that one's good.
No, it's
got to be good.
I think my letterbox review for it is like, if there's one movie in your life that you watch that's about an American man who meets Julie Delpy on a train and falls in love with her, make sure it's Before Sunrise and not An American Werewolf in London, because it's bad. But Wolfen's not great, but that one's got Albert Finney and Edward James Olmos in it, and it's got a lot of great qualities to it, and they try to do like more of a Native American like Skinwalker kind of thing with it, as opposed to like what modern werewolves are portrayed as in media. It's interesting, and it's got like Proto-Predator.
Another wolf cop. You like that one?
I did. That one felt like a good full moon movie.
I didn't watch it after the travesty of Wolf Cop, but maybe
the first Wolf Cop was extremely underwhelming. Another Wolf Cop is everything I wanted the first Wolf Cop to be. So, but yeah, Mazey Day, not in the top werewolf echelon.
It's probably better than at least 3 of the Howling movies, maybe. Because even though it feels long, it is only 40.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the Howling movies, but I remember the pain in your eyes after you told me that you watched them.
Yeah.
And listening to the reviews, you're like, hey guys, it's me, Thomas. I watched Howling 6.
The Howling 6 is one of the better ones.
I watched Howling 5.
I don't know. Yeah, 1, real bad. 2, really bad. 3, I fucking love 3. 3 is weird. Like, they're like, all werewolves descend from marsupials in Australia. And it's so strange, but I love it. 4 is just a rehash of the first one, but worse. And it's bad. 5 is this weird murder mystery in a castle. It's not great, but it's more than the other ones aside from 3. 3's the watermark for the Howling movies for me. And then 6 is like a freak show where they get a werewolf and it's run by a vampire and they like battle at the end, and it's like, so that one's got some like camp value, but it's still not very good. And then 7 was so fucking weird. It's like this guy tried to... All of the Howling movies are like completely... Every single one of them disconnected. There's like very little that they have in common with. And this one guy who like on no budget was like, I'm gonna tie all of these together. And it's so bad.
That kind of seems like something I would want.
It's interesting.
I might watch all 7.
You should. I mean, you should.
It's funny because if people are looking at the timestamps on this episode, is 8 good?
I didn't watch it. I didn't make it that far.
What if that's incredible?
It's like a reboot that was done like the last one was made in the early 90s, late 80s, and then 8 was like 2011 or something. And it's like a weird reboot. But yeah.
Like if people look at the timestamp for this episode, they'll be like, man, they talked about Mazey Day for so long. When we're just talking about werewolf movies. Man.
Yes.
Because Mazey Day has nothing to talk about. It's stupid.
No,
it's
bad. A bad paparazzi werewolf thing. And yeah, it ends with them in a diner where all these wonderfully
literally
set
also
up characters.
Just read Devil House.
Yes. But yeah, basically like the werewolf attacks the diner and kills everyone in it except for the one paparazzi who's
like, I want to be good. And it's like, no, but the money's too good.
Yep.
And it's like, that's, at that point, you kind of undercut that when you're taking pictures of a werewolf. Like, that's...
Yes.
That...
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know.
And it also undercuts that most of the paparazzi stuff they do are on people being unethical. Like... Yes, the more scandalous part was that he was gay, but he was still cheating on his wife at the beginning. Like, the first thing. And it's like, Mazey Day killed someone, or I guess she thought it was a dog, but then she saw it was someone, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like, bad.
Also,
it undercuts its own themes constantly.
Since when does running over a werewolf kill? I guess they went with the brute, like, I guess a good hit on the werewolf kills it in this universe.
Because a regular bullet killed it too.
Yeah, at the end I was like, no, that's not how this should go. That's too easy. Otherwise people would kill werewolves all the fucking time and they would not exist. Because then you just have like a small group of people and one of them just needs to get a good shot in. Yeah. The end.
Yep.
But yeah. Yeah, this is bad. You would give it a 3.
Yeah. I think you would give it a 2.
Yeah. Almost a 1, but I don't know why I'm not giving it a 1, but it's not that bad, but it wasn't good.
Yeah. Alright, we're almost there. Demon 79.
Demon 79. This one was the one that I thought was watchable, but...
I thought it was terrible. But I get it. There are concepts I like, but this one's so long, because this one's also over an hour.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the fuck? What? And it's so predictable.
Yeah.
And it's just like, none of the characters are very interesting. There's one part that I'm like, are they establishing this other, like, guy that she wants to kill as, like, some sort of demon as well? Because he, like, looks into this other girl's and he's like, listen to me. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? And right. I thought they were going to do something.
He was just foghorning really loud.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay. It's just so, this woman, she is in the England. That's the scary part. In 1979, people are being racist to her because she's brown. And they really go, hey, racism bad in this episode. I'm like, yeah, we know. It's like, she couldn't even eat her food. And it's like, yes, we know. Yes, this happens. You're not the first person to say this, and you don't say it in any interesting ways. No. But she finds a talisman that summons a demon, and he takes the form of a singer that she likes. And he should have just kept his weird little demon form, because it was kind of fun.
Yeah, it looked like shit, but...
Yeah, that's what's fun about it.
Yeah.
It looked like he was, like, doing a budget Pyramid Head cosplay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it didn't even... Like, the way that they lit it, it looked like it was just, like, a Halloween mask and, like, some big Halloween gloves, and then, like, they just tried to, like, obscure the rest of it in darkness to make it look
I think that's why I liked it.
So it's just like, what the hell am I looking at?
But, yeah, then she's like, oh, you have to kill 3 people in 3 days or the world's gonna end. And it's like, this happens all the time.
Does it?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah.
You find a random person to kill 3 people all the time? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and it's like, all right, just got a shitty boss, got a shitty coworker, got a ex guy who murdered his wife, who's coming into the store and hitting on her. And
yeah,
there's a racist politician.
I think that was the only part I liked. Is this like kind of sleazy guy who apparently like choked his wife to death, and he barely got any like jail time. She goes to kill him, and he like goes to the bathroom because it's under the pretense that she's gonna have sex with him. And he comes out and she has a hammer, and he's like, "You're gonna hit me with that, aren't you?" She's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay."
Yeah, he's like,
and this like self-acceptance, but then he's immediately like trying to justify his actions, and then she hits him. Like that part I liked. That was maybe the only part that I genuinely liked all of that scene.
Yeah.
And then she goes downstairs and his brother's there, and she has to kill him too. I was like,
yeah, because I mean,
and then it's like, oh, that kill didn't count because, and it's like, what?
Yeah, I guess.
Why doesn't he know the rules?
Yeah, it's like, you should have explained that to her before she fucking murked the guy. It's like, oh, by the way, yeah, apparently they have to be like, not.
They can't be murderers.
Yeah, they can't already be destined for hell. So it's just like, oh, so all the people that she kills are going to hell? Like, that kind of sucks. But.
Yeah, and it's like, and at the end it's like, oh, is she just crazy? And the whole time it's like, is she just crazy? And it's like, no, she was right, the world's ending. And now I'm gonna go hold hands with my demon boyfriend, we're gonna go off into the sunset to live oblivion together. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, the ending I think is, I guess, fine. I do like that actor. I think he's pretty charismatic. Yeah. I liked both the leads okay.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was watchable, because it's just like, just kind of him quipping the whole time and her trying not to kill people. And it's like, all right, this is something.
But it really feels like maybe like an 8th grader wrote most of the outlines for these.
It's basically just like an inverse of like, yeah, I'm the angel in training. I'm trying to get my wings.
What if it was a demon? But what if he dressed in all white? What? And what if there was the rules?
Yeah, and I was just like, oh man. Yeah, it wasn't good.
It really feels like I'm 14 and this is deep. And I'm wondering if that's all Black Mirror,
Maybe. It's certainly most of the Black Mirror I've seen.
Yeah,
so.
It makes me pretty scared to rewatch it. But
yeah, because I almost entertained the thought. I was like, maybe I'll go back and watch some Black Mirror, but like, I haven't watched any good Black Mirror. Maybe the first episode I saw was like,
I think a lot of people don't like that first episode. I think it's pretty good.
I like the concept.
Decent. Yeah,
I wish someone would do that to a politician, because I think it's funny. I mean, as much as I wouldn't want to see a politician fuck a pig on air. Yeah, because for those who don't know the premise, it's basically like,
you must fuck a pig on air or I'm going to kill this woman.
Yeah. Well, it's like, yeah, doesn't he do that for the president?
It's the Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister, yeah, that's right. The show's British. Yeah. I forgot, because there's so many American actors in this fucking season.
Well, because it got, after the first 2 seasons, it was, I think, bought by Netflix. So there's definitely, like, I think season 3 and 4 keep it going enough, but you really, like, you do lose the originality after the first 2 seasons. Yeah. And I think there's enough going in 3 and 4 that it keeps it going, but I think after season 2, after like it's being bought, that's when it starts to go down.
Makes sense.
But, yeah, Demon 79 I really did not like, and I think it's really boring.
I think it's dull and boring, and it's like an hour and 20 minutes of just like, But that's kind of all of these episodes. I'm just like, yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Which is funny because Hulu did a series after like Black Mirror got big. Hulu had a horror anthology series called Into the Dark that they would release monthly, and they would theme it after different like holidays on each month, and that was their shtick. And they're almost all terrible. And most of the season just feels like it was an Into the Dark episode. So yeah, I think they did 2 full like series of that, so like 24 episodes. I think I saw like 18 of them. I'll probably eventually finish the last couple. I think I genuinely enjoyed maybe 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Maybe more? Here, I'll check real quick.
Yeah.
It's very important data.
If you're thinking about making an anthology series, make sure you got a lot of, like, solid ideas. Don't go, it'll be fine.
Let's see. I watched 20 of them. I gave 3 of them a 6 or a higher. 2 of them I gave a 7 out of 10. 1 of them I gave a 6 out of 10. The rest were 5s or below. Ooh. Yeah, actually, only 1 of them is a 5. So, yeah. 15 of them? 16 of them are 4 out of 10 and below, which is not great.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah, this one, I think, this one's almost my least favorite of the season, though. Because I just think it's so long.
It is.
But I will say, I did watch Mazey Day and this in the same sitting, because we were originally going to record yesterday, and Tuesday was me and Hinate's anniversary. 8 years, baby! Thank you. So I didn't want to have to watch one of these on my fucking anniversary.
That's fair.
I'm like, yikes. Especially because I'm like, I'm not going to like any of these. I was surprised that I liked Beyond the Sea. After the first one, I'm like, I know I'm not going to like any of these. So maybe it's just because I watched this and Mazey Day back to back, but no, this one was rough for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like it, but like I said, I thought it was just on like a kind of Pierre scale. It was like, alright, it kept me somewhat engaged throughout the whole time, so.
I think the only engaging part was I think the leads were pretty charismatic with each other. And that's why I'm kind of glad I saw them like get together at the end, I guess, because like that's, I guess, the only thing I cared about in this episode, so I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. This is bad.
Yeah.
Black Mirror. More like Shag Shear.
Holy shit! You're going to give this episode a 5.
No.
4?
Yeah. 3?
Yeah. Yeah. Shitty season.
Indeed.
Yeah. So me and Thomas were talking, and, life is pretty tumultuous. Mm-hmm. So we have decided that we're going to take a step back and put the podcast on a hiatus. We don't know when we will return, if we will return, kind of thing. Life, we've been doing this for 189 episodes, over 3.5 years, maybe 4 years at this point. Mm-hmm. And it's sad, but we're going to just, take some time for ourselves. We'll still probably be making videos and stuff. But we're gonna take a step back just for mental health and.
Yep, I've got a new work schedule that would make it very difficult to record episodes on a weekly basis. So.
Like I told him before we recorded, we might be back in like a month. We might be back in 2 months, and we might never be back, at least in this form. Mm-hmm. But we will do at least one more episode. We're gonna end on 190. Mm-hmm. We're gonna do another top. You want to do top 50 each? I think that's what we did last time. The last one we did.
That sounds
I would like to see how we've changed. Mm-hmm. I know what our top one's gonna be. Maybe. But yeah, we're gonna do that, and we're gonna end off on Read Weens 20.
Yeah.
Because we're already planning on reading that, and then we'll still be making stuff, and we might do more podcasts in the future, but that's where we shall be for now.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wanted to thank everyone that does listen, everyone that will listen in the future, everyone that's discovering it now. We appreciate your listens.
Yes.
We hope that you found some cool movies or cool shows through us, or terrible stuff to watch.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've watched some of the worst things I've ever seen through this, but also
Yes.
I have learned so much about film and movies, and honestly about myself throughout the last couple of years. Getting kind of emotional.
Yeah. Because, I mean, this is very left... I didn't wake up this morning thinking, yeah, like, we're going to end the podcast potentially. It's just... I went to work, saw my schedule, and was like, oh, no.
Yeah. And, you know, we always wanted to do this as a fun thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of people, many people listen to us, which is fine, because it's always been about us exploring movies together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sad. End of an era kind of thing, but our mental health is always going to be more important than a funny little podcast that we do.
Absolutely.
But yeah, some of the best things, I don't think I would have ever... Honestly, before I started this podcast, I hadn't seen a lot of older movies. I don't know how long it would have been until I watched things like Harakiri or, you know, Human Condition. And, you know, I will... Even though we're ending this, I'm still going to be watching all these types of movies because now we know, you know?
Yes. Yes.
And now I know what I like. Now I know what to explore. Mm-hmm. So, it's a sad day, but it's also, you know, we're still going to be friends. We're still going to make stuff. Mm-hmm. If anything, we can now put more effort into making more short films like we wanted to do, you know? Or we can, I want to do long form reviews. Maybe you can start doing reviews again.
Yeah.
But yeah. We love you all.
Yep.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you one more time for episode 190.
Yeah. Tell your grandma.
Tell your grandma. Tune in next week.